merry meet and fare thee well. Settle in for a story with me, Astin Gaël. Thank you so much for being here today. This is your every other day collective message for June the 20th. Happy Catterday. Tomorrow at about 2:20 in the morning, the sun will move into Cancer. So, happy early birthday to my Cancers. It is also a solar eclipse. On top of that, tomorrow is the quarter moon in Virgo. So, get your spell work ready. Get out your grimoire so that you can record what you've done. And believe me on this, recording what you've done is the most important part. I can't tell you the amount of insight I have gained from writing down my spell work in my 2025 grimoire and holding on to it so that I can keep looking back at what I've done and the results that I have seen since then. Not trying to tell you what to do, you have free will. I'm just saying, if you want to learn from others, learn from me. Cast your spells, write them down. The more descriptive you can get in your writing down process, the better. All right, that's all I'm going to say on that. It is over halfway through the month of June. We only have a little over a week. If you have not got your free reading just because you're gay and it is the month of June where we celebrate the gays, get it now. I have availability in my schedule. I would be happy to provide you with a 5-card PDF spread. It's about 1,000-character short story. Absolutely for free. Just tell me that you're a part of the LGBTQI community. Or a 30-minute video for a review. That's all I'm asking that you provide me is a quick review with permission to share it across my socials. All right? Everything else you need to know is in the description box down below, including how you can support the channel. Right now, my system is setting a $60 per month earnings goal. That is double what we have averaged this year when it comes to earnings. And we just plan on continuing to double the earnings average as a goal until we meet it, and then double, until it gets to a reasonable living wage, and then we will just stop asking for help. All right. I think that's enough business. We are working our way through what there is to love about a man, and every day we read an excerpt and we take the theme of that excerpt and create a short story using the cards. I only brought 3 decks today, but one of them is the new Viking Valor deck. Today's theme is excess. Now look, I don't think we're supposed to love excess, so I think Rachel probably is throwing us a curveball. She likes to do that. He is too much. He drives too fast, he laughs too loud, and given the chance, he will sleep too long. He's overworked and overstressed and oversexed, and don't look now, but he's head over heels in love again. Once is never enough, and sometimes he can't stop himself. If the recipe calls for 2 eggs, he's going to throw in 4 just for good measure. If there's a chance of rain in the forecast, he'll hose down the car and put out the sprinkler. What? We're out of pretzels again? He's over the top. He gives too much on birthdays, volunteers too many hours to help the homeless, and is way ahead of himself when it comes to phone trees for third world causes. He buys too many lunches for too many people at work and does all the cooking for everybody at home. Sometimes he calls 8 times a day just to say, I miss you. And then he follows up with emails just to say it again. It all seems like excess, but think this one through. Without it, he'd be so exceedingly bland. Yes, I like that curveball. An excess of love. Like, who's gonna complain about that? If anything, I feel like the narrative that is out there, mostly from the feminine folk, we're not necessarily talking about male-loving males, but female-bodied people that fancy men, whether they are heterosexual or bisexual, seem to be complaining about the lack of love that men have to give. So, gotta love a man who does it in excess. I don't know how I feel about being called 8 times a day, though. Like, bro, I am fucking busy. Why are you not busy? Stop calling. Okay. I can't stop using this deck. I love a new deck, and I particularly love this one. So, let's talk about excessive men. I know plenty of people that thought the Vikings were excessive men. The Christians, to start. All right. Who is excessive in today's story? The 3 of Pentacles in the reverse and the Star in the reverse. All right. So someone who I would say is maybe a little greedy with their resources, who does not necessarily have any star power. And I'm not really for sure what I mean by star power. They don't really particularly shine. Well, okay. It's the end line. It all seems like excess, but think this one through. Without it, he'd be so exceedingly bland. So there's a person that is very greedy with their resources that is so exceedingly bland. So I asked this deck, who is being excessive? And they told me about somebody that is not excessive in the way that Rachel is talking, but I would say they are excessive in jealousy. They are excessive in uh, moodiness. Yeah, they are excessively moody. Um, and it's stemming from their lack of star power. Um, begrudgingly. They give begrudgingly. This is the type of person that donates to charity, but only if people are watching. Um, or, their charity somehow benefits them. I've always kind of had a bitter taste in my mouth for the people that go to those like charity balls or charity functions, because okay, yeah, you paid $500 for a seat at this thing, and yeah, that $500 is going to this charity organization, and yeah, we hope that that organization actually does what they say they do with the money. But like, you got a night out with a bunch of other rich people where got sat at a table with other people that you probably didn't know beforehand. Essentially what I'm saying is you're paying to network. You're paying to be a part of a networking event. That is not charitable. So, all right. Clarify this charity or lack thereof. All right, so we've got the Knight of Swords in the reverse, the Moon in the reverse, clarifying the Queen of Cups in the reverse. So there's a motherly energy present here, possibly a passed over, like feminine, that was important in the family. And the Two of Cups in the reverse. All right, so this lack of charity has been aimed at a couple. I want to say that the person that is doing the uncharitable acts is a mother. Not necessarily a mother, gender doesn't matter here. Somebody with a nurturing energy, somebody an older feminine energy. Right, and I wanted to say earlier that they're into some dark things. They might be a dark practitioner or um, in a occult group. They're unable to see into, spy on, know about this lovers, their connection. So I don't know why that matters. This might be the mother of one of the two people in this connection. Um, and so the lack of charity, the lack of kindness is because they don't know anything about these two. It would be like, okay, I remember my sister finally getting fed up with the tradition that her husband's family had of meeting every single Sunday afternoon. She was working a lot, and Saturdays and Sundays were their only time together as a family. It didn't really bother her until they were a family. Like when my nephew came along, she wanted to be just the three of them more and more. And so she finally said something, she finally spoke up and was like, we're cutting this down to one family lunch a month or two family lunches a month, whatever. Now her husband agreed. He felt similarly. Um, Although he was a little bit more concerned about how his family was going to react, the family did not agree. It did not go over well with my sister's in laws. And they kind of struggled a little bit, like with their connection to his family. It's that kind of energy. It's the energy of placing a boundary and having somebody react distastefully to that boundary, possibly to the point that they are acting out about it. All right. Clarify the lack of star power. And why do I keep calling it star power? No, I don't think I can answer that question, so just clarify the lack of star power. All right. The Three of Wands with the Death upright. Okay. So this person can feel themselves moving closer and closer to death. And now I'm being reminded of this person that rents a house from my partner. He started writing all of his checks up to a month in advance, about a month ago. And my partner was a little confused. He was like, are you going out of town? Is there something I should be worried about? And the man was just like, oh, well, I'm dying. And I shouldn't laugh because death is not funny, but I'm just laughing at how assured he is. And he's just so like about it, he just wants to have all of his affairs in order. This person, I think, is also coming to terms with the fact that they are inching closer and closer towards death, but it's depleting them. And of course it is. That's just what death does, doesn't it? It sucks the life out of you. But pun not intended. if you are prepared for that to happen, you'll just accept that that's what's happening. If you're not prepared for that to happen, you might start engaging in some narcissistic habits, i.e., that tendency to suck up the lives of others. While it's not inappropriate to want to know about the well-being of a pair of lovers, especially if one of them is your child, doing so in a manner that essentially drains one or the both of these partners of their life force is inappropriate. It is narcissistic. If you are not returning any energy whatsoever, if what you are doing is taking from this couple's joy and happiness and love, and you're spitting back out pain and filth, yeah, that's not reciprocity. There should be a new blog on the Four Isles Magic Shop Buy Me a Coffee uh, that talks about reciprocity. All right. Let's do final messages for this happy little threesome. The lovers and the Queen of Cups, with like voyeuristic tendencies. uh, yeah, and I don't know why, but I'm hearing, I wanna know if she really loves me. I say a prayer with every heartbeat. Okay. Yeah, so tell me about that. Tell me about that song. I wanna know. If she loves me. If she loves me not. Alright, so we've got the Five of Wands in the reverse. The Two of Wands in the reverse. Sorry, these are so new that I still struggle knowing which is which. The Page of Wands in the reverse. Ten of Pentacles in the reverse. The Nine of Pentacles in the reverse. And the Ace of Swords in the reverse. Okay, so I want to know if she really loves me. This Queen of Cups feels like, I'm assuming, the feminine energy. Actual gender does not really matter here. This could be a same-sex couple. This could be a man and a woman. This could be two non-binary individuals. I don't know. But the one with a more feminine presence, has confessed their love for this Queen of Cups, okay? Not necessarily like in a romantic way. I'm talking in a familial way. The way one would confess their love for their in-laws or parents. Possibly as a result of the boundary, this Queen of Cups in the reverse perceives that confession as null and void and possibly never true to begin with. It was all a lie. Now, this pair of lovers, they do not fight with this mother energy. They do not make things difficult for this person. They do not bring combative vibes into the connection. I want to say they also don't ask for things from this person. So this is not like this is not like the couple that low-key doesn't like the in-laws and or their own parents, but they're always calling them up for loans or you know, inviting themselves to the cookouts. This couple doesn't do any of that. They don't do any of that. And yet they are being persecuted. And I honestly think that it's the persecution just stems from like desiring autonomy, desiring independence, not wanting to go to the every fucking week family dinner. That's also making me think of Gilmore Girls, which was definitely my mom, my sister, and I's show all through my preteen and teen years. Honestly, it's a great show. But remember how Lorelai and Rory were expected to go to the grandparents' house every Friday for Friday night dinners because they were paying for Rory's tuition? And yet the grandparents didn't want to acknowledge that they were basically paying for these people's companionship. No one owes you their time, energy, essence, their fucking life story. And expecting that, being willing to pay for that even, says more about you than it does the people who do not want to let you in on their stuff, on their lives. Someone wanting to be private is not deceptive. It's just someone not wanting to tell you their business. It does not mean that they're a liar. It also doesn't mean that they don't love you. So that is what I have for you today. We took a wild and interesting turn from the original excess, but I like where we landed. Until next time, be well, be you.